Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, along with Andrew Moran, Dave Patterson, Graham Noble, and Scott Cosenza. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Just when you think a political party in America has run out of plays, well, there's a new playbook. Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein set the game of mousetrap in motion by posting a serious accusation against the Democratic National Committee. It was a job posting seeking somebody to mitigate third-party threats. That's the term, mitigate. Like Stein, like RFK Jr., and the Libertarians, for instance. So who might want to apply to the independent and third-party project manager position? Pay $65,000. Straight up spies infiltrating enemy camps? Or hey, Graham, am I wrong? Does this smell like an op?
Well, no, I think it absolutely is. And it's kind of funny because we hear so much from the Democrats about them defending us against threats to democracy. But of course, the irony is, and historically, the political left has always done this. They've always hidden behind the veil of democracy. And yet they have very little interest in it. I mean, if you're really in love with the whole democratic process, then you are quite happy for as many people to compete for the top political jobs in the country as possible. Why would you want to try to fight a kind of stealth war against independent candidates and third-party candidates, which is what they're doing? And of course, they're mostly worried. I don't think they really are concerned too much about Jill Stein and the Green Party, but they certainly are probably concerned about RFK. There are some worrying surveys coming out. And this whole idea that, I think if anyone believes that RFK is going to take as many votes from Trump as he takes from Biden, I think that person is, you're taking some kind of drugs anyway. Maybe you've been on Silk Road yourself. But a recent Cook report, and to give the proper credits for this survey, actually, it's a Cook political report /BSG/GS strategy group survey, and it came out probably about I want to say 10 days, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And it was a survey of voters in 6 states: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, 7 actually, North Carolina and Wisconsin. And in every single one of those states, RFK got between 7 and 10% of the vote.
Wow.
Now, when surveys were done just comparing Trump to Biden, then Trump's lead was always less of a lead because he was leading in every one of those states except Wisconsin. But Trump's lead was always less of a lead by anything between 2, 3, 4 points, less of a lead head to head than when the poll was done with Jill Stein and RFK thrown in there. Suddenly, Trump's lead over Biden increased by, as I said, 2 to 4 points in every case. So this is obviously the Biden campaign's main worry. And yes, this is definitely an op, and they're basically trying to, they're trying to kind of a stealth sabotage operation against RFK mainly, which for defenders of democracy, I find is kind of amusing.
So Andrew, are we gonna have on our financial, disclosure statements at the end of the campaign, are we gonna line item spies? I mean, how are they gonna get away with? I mean, that's what it was. I mean, I know they took the post down.
It will go down as legal expenses, just the way Hillary Clinton did when she paid for the Steele dossier back in 2016.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's not illegal if you misbill legal expenses if you're not Donald Trump. It's totally cool.
Oh.
But see, your question is how they get away with it. when is anyone hardly ever accountable in politics? It's rare to find any of the mainstream parties ever held accountable, as unless, of course, as Scott just alluded to, your name is Donald Trump. Now, but of course, it's a worthwhile investment for the Democratic Party or for any of the mainstream parties because they've done it for decades. You know, they learned it from the communists who would infiltrate all the parties and all these political ideologies. But to piggyback on what Graham was saying, you know, the polls show that five-way race, you know, on average benefits Trump. So if the Democrats see the likes of Jill Stein or Cornel West even taking votes away from Biden, the party will do everything in its power to erect roadblocks to other parties or candidates that do not possess the same resources the RNC or DNC. Because do you see anyone from the Green Party infiltrating the Democratic Party? Of course not. And of course, the Libertarian Party is just going to self-destruct anyway. So I highly doubt the DNC is investing anything whatsoever in the LP. And I'm sorry, Scott, you know, the LP, I can go on for hours of how bad.
I'm not an LP member, so no apology needed.
Scott's very clear on that. Also, I want to ask, is the Republican Party doing the same thing? Are these tactics that everyone is doing?
I would start by saying I would never put it past the Republicans to do that. If there were several kind of right of center independent candidates or third parties, I mean, all there is the Libertarian Party. So do I think the Republicans are putting any resources whatsoever into trying to sabotage the Libertarian Party? No, not really, no. I mean, if there was maybe several other independent right-of-center candidates, I wouldn't put it past the Republican Party to do that at all. But then they're not the ones that have to do it. It's the Democrats, the ones that got the problem with that.
The only confirmation we have on this is that Democrats are doing it both through Ms. Stein's posting, and of course, we know what they did to Bernie Sanders. That's that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy fact. The party conspired to destroy the candidacy of the chief challenger to Hillary Clinton's nomination. So that's all out in the open.
Well, Dave,
yes,
has sorry, beep beep beep. That's all, folks. Is this gonna hurt anybody, or is it just something people are going to roll their eyes at and go, yeah, whatever, they took the posting down, but they'll just reword it, right?
Yeah, I know. I think that, you know, from just a quick glance at all of this going on, I think it's really, you know, chalked up as something that's really stupid to put a, you know, a help wanted ad out in the public, and you have to ask yourself, well, who's going to actually compete for this job? The perfect entry-level position for this is a 24-year-old liberal with a master's degree in something like early Elizabethan literature, with an emphasis, you know, on Edmund Spenser's use of the comma, with no job.
Well,
with no job, living in his parents' basement with a pet hamster named
assign
Woodrow.
gender to the to the hypothetical person, Dave?
Of course,
I think that's wrong.
Of course,
I think you have
to.
I think it has to be understood that if you are a straight white male, even if you are a raving progressive, but you're a straight white male, there is no point applying for this job because you're not getting it.
You should step aside for any employment, lest you take a position from the less fortunate, right?
Look, you know, when you really look at this, I mean, I think that what got, you know, Dr. Stein's goat was the statement, and it's not subtle, you know, that the third party candidates getting them off the ballot, and I thought the offending sentence was, you know, volunteers for the petition review and other legal adjacent support. That's a good one. Legal adjacent support for potential ballot access challenges. You know, again, you know, the fact is that most campaigns do similar stuff, but they're clever enough to call it opposition research, and they're much more careful about putting it out in public. But then the DNC is not known for its, lack of hubris.
I have a question here. You know, there's an economist, Peter St. Onge, and he criticized, and again, we're pivoting to the Libertarian Party, but his message pretty much was that why not just infiltrate these two mainstream parties? Because there's no third parties ever going to succeed. No independent candidates ever going to succeed. So why not at the national level, at the very least, just infiltrate them, try to transform them from the inside, and that's the best way to advance whatever cause you have. So in our case, the cause of liberty, but in others for the cause of socialism. Whatever the case, why not just do it that way as opposed to embracing the green parties and some socialist party? I forgot the name. We had a segment on the show a few weeks ago talking about a party that loves veganism and socialism and animal rights or something like that. So these parties are useless. There's never going to be more than 3 parties in the United States. Why bother at this point?
Okay. All right. Well, good, because we're going to close this one out. I'm tired of herding cats. I certainly wish I could say I'm surprised at the behavior of the DNC. But it's politics in 2024, and no one respects anybody anymore, and fair play is gone like yesterday. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks, panel. We'll keep you all posted. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. I'm your host, Sarah Cowgill. Thanks for joining us today for Free Thinking, Free Speech, libertynation.com.